we're working on shoulder internal rotation today, okay? The ability to rotate underneath. Now, when we get into this sort of fetal position, side lying position, this is where we're gonna be working from, but you'll notice that my shoulders sort of shrugged up. So if I was sitting up tall, it'd sort of be here. What I wanna do is pull my shoulder down, lock the shoulder blades back in together, puff the chest, and I wanna make sure that I'm on top of my shoulder in that position, all right? So, from there, my elbow is in front of my shoulder. I'm not shrugged up. I'm nice and extended and chest is puffed. My shoulders packed down, just if you need to. We're gonna bring your shoulder down into rotation. Now, you'll notice that if I'm shrugged up, I can get almost down to the floor. But if I'm puffed and locked, I can only get down to about here, okay? So hold that position nice and steady. We're gonna use this arm to push down, or if you want, put your hand on your elbow and use this elbow to come down if you have enough mobility to get down there, okay? We're gonna hold that stretch for 60 seconds. You should feel some stuff rotating around in that shoulder. That's perfect. Puff the chest. Try to keep it up nice and solid. You can have a block here even to rest your head on. That's really comfortable that way if you really want to focus just on the shoulder. So if you need to, pause the video, go grab yourself a block or a pillow or something to put your head on. All that matters is that we're going to hold a stretch within that shoulder capsule. Okay, try not to fidget too much. If you find yourself collapsing, just roll back on top. You might have to adjust your stretch based on the fact that it's going to be harder when you're stacked up on top, but just try to hold on to that stretch a little bit. I'm a big fan of pushing above the wrist, so not necessarily on the back of my hand. My hand is free here, meaning that I'm going to be pushing directly on the bone, which is going to apply torque onto the shoulder. Okay, if I'm pushing on my wrist, sometimes my wrist will come down like this, and I'm sort of wasting energy. Okay, hold steady. So I'm going to give you two instructions: push and pull. When I say push, you're going to use this hand, the one that we're working on, and I want you to push against the hand that's holding it there. Now that doesn't mean that the top hand pushes down. That means that the bottom arm, the one that we're working on, is pushing up. This top hand, the free hand, all it's doing is not letting my forearm actually move. Okay? So essentially hold this stretch, but when I say push, we're trying to rotate this way. When I say pull, what you're gonna do is you're gonna try to hold this hand exactly where it is, and I want you to pull your wrist down towards the floor as much as you can without letting your shoulder move around and flop around. Make sure we're stacked on it the entire time, okay? So you should be holding stretch this whole time, if you've done it right. We're gonna hold for about 5 more seconds here, and when I say push, we're gonna push just with 20% pressure, okay? So let's give it a bit of a push, just with 20%. This is actually where doing this comes in real handy. Problem is, to get down in front can be a little difficult, okay? You're still pushing with 20%. We're gonna push up with 40%. You should still feel a stretch in the shoulder. We're not coming out of that stretch. We're holding that stretch and applying pressure, okay? We're gonna go up to 60% here. Starting to get a little tougher. We're gonna go 80%. The top hand isn't doing anything except for preventing movement. The bottom hand is doing all the work, pushing up with 80%, and now with as 100% as safe, but as hard as you can. We're pushing up, pushing up, pushing up, hard for another 3, 2, 1, pull. Don't move the top hand, try to pull the bottom wrist down to the ground. Try to rotate, try to pull that shoulder into rotation. Come on, drive. Basically trying to touch the mat here. Come on, don't let that shoulder compensate, stay puffed, drive. 3, 2, 1. You can give it a bit of a push here and then hold that new position and relax. If you find that when you pull, you don't get any movement, right? If I'm stretching here and I go to pull and I just can't move, you can use that top hand just a little bit to help get it a little bit lower. Problem is, we want these muscles to be doing the work. We don't want this hand to be doing all the work, okay? Hold on to that stretch here for another 15 seconds. You should have gotten a little bit deeper, whether you just pulled or whether you used your hand to push a little bit and help it out, that's okay. We should have gotten a little bit deeper. We're gonna lock in that position by relaxing completely, releasing all tension from the shoulder and just hanging out. For another 5, 3, 2, 1. Start to come out of that position. Awesome. Okay, we worked on the shoulder. We're gonna lock in that new information with the shoulder car. So stand up, kneel down, whatever you wanna do. One shoulder car, forward and backwards on that right side. Then you can back up the video to the beginning of what we just did, do it again on your left side. That's one full round.